we're gonna do some flood irrigation here in Arizona. We have the privilege and blessing of being on an irrigated property. So this canal comes every 13 days and floods our pasture with water, and it's very affordable. Most of this water comes from the mountains, and Arizona actually has a lot of water rights and a lot of water. So there's the canal just outside on the main street, and you can already see a little bit of water in the canal. So someone's taking water upstream from us, and there's the little pipe that goes across the back of our pasture to water all the neighbors down the street from us on our row of housing. And we're going to go out to that side of the canal and open all of our floodgates so we can get our 30 minutes of flooding that will come out of these ports. And how much do we pay? Well, people who don't have irrigation would probably pay about $600 a month to keep the pasture green. We only pay about $20 a month for irrigation. So we get 2 irrigations a month for 30 minutes. Our ducks and geese are going to be very excited to see the flood come in and their pasture turn into a pond. And it's all, even this nice orange tree will get some nice water. It's all gravity, so there's no pumps involved. So we're gonna go outside and open our gate. My sheep come running like crazy when I come close to the gate because they think they're gonna get fed. We didn't have as much grass as I had hoped, so I had to supplement them a little bit with some feed, alfalfa and cob, which is corn, oats, and barley with a little molasses. So they're hoping to get some free food without having to work for it. By work for it, I mean actually chewing all that delicious green grass out there. By the way, I have never mowed this pasture, yard, lawn, whatever you call it. I've never mowed it. It's always been some little critter. Before we had them, it was getting kind of tall, and we decided instead of spending $1,000 on a riding mower, we would spend $400 on 3 sheep. And they have done it out by the irrigation ditch, so away we go. To set up irrigation, we're going to get this big old metal ditch check first, and it's going to steer the water into our ditches on this canal. So, okay, so here's my ditch check. And I can put it in anywhere here, but it's going to go in like that, and it's got a rubber sill around the edges to block the water from kind of escaping. Of course, this is irrigation, so it's not a perfect system, but that's going to keep the water, you know, if it gets too full, it could run over the top and steer it into our canals over here, our ports that we're going to open. So we have 3 ports to open here. Here's our ports. And this has a little place that holds it on the top and a little hole in the bottom. So the tricky part when I get done irrigating is getting this thing. That's one way we do flood irrigation in Arizona. Getting the port to go back into the bottom. So that's how I do it. And getting it to go back into the little slot on the bottom is really the hardest part when the water level is really high. I gotta stick down my finger down there in the middle of night sometimes, freezing cold water, and feel for this little hole and line this up while the water is pushing my little port back on itself. It's a very maybe challenging process at some times, but after a good year and a half of it, I'm pretty fast at it still. Let's go open the rest of the ports. So did you get that part on the bottom? So that's where it goes in at, and then we just stick them up here on the sides. And this little bridge is for walking across when the water is deep. Port. And of course there's trash that came from the road into the ditch. We also have to clear the weeds out of the ditch. And actually, speaking of trash, it's crazy how much trash I had in my pasture last time after irrigation that blew off the roads and into the watering irrigation canals and came into our yard. I mean, all kinds of crazy nasty stuff from from drug get high pill, empty capsules to women's sanitary pads, and of course all kinds of processed food trash, which is kind of sad. So here's the pipe that goes down to our neighbors' houses, and so they have their ports open, and then they have a ditch check here to steer the water into their canals. So first they'll take their water, everybody on the street behind us, and then when they're done I'll close these ports for them, pull up the ditch check, and we'll take water. So we get our water in about 45 minutes, and we are set up, ready to go. We're gonna have a nice irrigation today. Checking on my neighbor's canal over here because he's out of town, and he wanted to make sure this port was open for all the people to get water down this way, and that one's closed to keep it from going down to the next group of people. So our pasture is starting to fill up. Oh, the geese and ducks are very happy. Finally they get to bathe all their feathers in water. This tree, orange tree, is getting a nice watering. And let me show you how the canal looks here. So the ditch check is holding the water here, steering it into our ports. And here's one of our ports. You can see the water rushing in. All the happy little water creatures enjoying the watering. And we have another 15 minutes of water here to fill up the whole pasture. Of course, the low spots fill up first, and the chickens go digging for all the bugs that come climbing out of the water. So we're going to pull the ports. The water is now covering pretty much the entire pasture and starting all these things. Have a good day. Bye. The water goes. We're going to close our ports, so come watch the close the ports. Hole down there, line it up, pull that out. And now it's easy with the first one, but the last one, when the water level's high, is the hardest.
How is it so easy with the first?
Because the water level's really low, so it's easier to push it down. You gotta find a little hole and line up. There we go. You gotta line up the little hole, but the pressure of the water is pushing the disc back against the wall. So sometimes it prevents me from pushing the little spear into its hole. One more.
Wonderful. It's like a little waterfall right there. And over here is more waterfall.
Here's our last. The water's flowing pretty good. And there's a lot of stuff growing, okay? I found my hole to line it up a bit. See the water? Ugh. It sounds like it's on, but there we go. And then it locks, and we are done irrigating. So we are done irrigating, and on to the next people. And we got a very nice bit of water there. Oh my goodness. These guys are having a party.
You want to
It's a duck's life today.
The ducks with the orange feet are the boys. Yeah.
And a little bit of the street, but it's a dead-end street, so you need to traffic. Everything is really well landscaped so that the high ground stays dry around the edge and the low ground gets watered. So our house, as you can see, doesn't get any water up by the house. The house sits a little higher and the driveway gets water. It's all about working with gravity to create high and low places where you want the water to be and where you don't want the water.